So, on to game 3. So far we've had a very one-sided storm from GenG and a fairly good game from T1. So this Aurelia ban, honestly, I think it's because they don't want GenG to get it because Faker isn't too great on it. And the Azir ban, they're banning that kind of away from Faker. Renekton ban, I really just don't like. I think Renekton is not this high priority. So what they're going to do here, maybe, so Viego's ban, again, just a Rise, okay. Aphelios Thresh, okay. Why go with anything different? Ashe and maybe Nidalee and Ashe, because they do still have a massive amount set up with the Rise, or they might just go Nidalee Leona here. It just depends what they actually want to prioritize. Because I think Leona will get banned in ban phase as soon as it goes through. And Thresh is already on the table. So if they want to just take Leona and just play it for like all-out kind of ruling potential. Now, obviously, like, the Thresh does count Leona, but Leona is just so broken right now that it really doesn't matter. So probably they're going to go with, the Na. Oh, I really don't like that. Because they're also blinding it, which means they want to save draft resources till later. But blinding Na just seems, I mean, it'll work, but I don't think it's too great. Now they'll just respond with Kennen. I think Kennen would have been a much better pick there. They actually go with the Syndra into the Rise just so that it doesn't get banned in the second rotation. So on the side of GenG now, you're looking to ban away bot laners. So probably the Ashe ban will come through. Just because, okay, Leona, that's fine as well. They're just, like, the next ban will be Ashe. In terms of T1's bans, they're looking to ban our jungle top. So we might even see a Xin Zhao ban. In terms of top lane, we might see an Ornn ban as well. So maybe Xin Ornn ban here from the side of T1. So let's see what they decide to go with. Okay, they banned away the Kennen. I mean, that makes sense as well. And now we'll probably see Ashe get banned away, just so that Aphelios has a little bit of an easier time. And then the bot lane pool is, okay, Kalista, so they're just going to take Ashe. I think this was a really bad mistake. Just because, like, they're not... I don't think they're just going to force Kalista there. So again, there's the Xin ban that we predicted earlier. So on the side of GenG now, they just need to take... probably just their jungle and then get a counter pick for top lanes. So maybe a Trundle here. Or actually it's into Nidalee, so Trundle wouldn't be that amazing. So I mean J4 is available. I completely forgot about that champion. Okay, so Ezreal and then a long range kind of also okay. So Jinx Braum is also a very, very good lane. I mean I would have liked Ashe Braum, but I actually think that Jinx is also extremely good, and she can also have a kind of scuffle with Aphelios because they both have an amazing team fight. So it's a case of whoever has the better team around them. Now, they do have a Rise on the side of T1, but I think overall GenG have way more tools to actually take those team fights than what T1 have. So we need to see kind of swap his Ignite out. Okay, there we go. Unfortunately, they have Flash on the wrong key, so I mean, Teddy's the only one that's going to actually do anything on that team. Clearly, BDD is the superior mid laner. Right, so... we'll see them get into the game now. So let's skip to the actual game start. So we're going to see runes here as well. So again, the water walking is killing me. And Scorch from Syndra. Oh, it's so bad. Like, Omnistone Camille. Okay. So I was actually speaking about this. Let me message Color. Like, because I was speaking about this with him, that I actually think, Okay, so I'm thinking we were actually talking about Omnisome Camille last I spoke to him. Okay, so nice. Right, so let's get back into this game. You know, I mean, it's nice when I'm right, but you know, let's get back into it. Because like I actually think Omnisome is pretty good on Camille because you can proc it so much. Now, there's so many mechanics to Omnisome, right? That is just very hard to kind of say, but obviously I'm a coach, so it's easy. But Omnistone has what's called smart selection, which means if certain conditions are met around you, then you have I think it's 15% higher chance that you will get a rune that's based on the situation you're in. So, for example, if you're near a low health enemy, you've got a much higher chance of rolling Dark's why do I keep thinking Dark Seal? Dark Harvest. And so, you know, and the thing with Dark Harvest on Omnistone is it's not like you lose the rune. Dark Harvest actually buffs the runes that you get permanently. So when it gets this kind of side lane potential with Camille, which is already almost uncontested in, this like kind of Omnistone will give us so many useful runes. So you have things like Dark Harvest, which will when you're low, if you're if you're building more AD heavy, you get a higher chance of Conqueror. If you're building attack speed, you'll get a higher chance to get a lethal tempo, for example. And you can combine these runes with each other. So you can say get Conqueror, get 12 stacks on it, and then the next rune that you'll get will be, say, Comet or Electrocute, and the bonus that you get from Conqueror will then carry over to that next rune. So if you're going for these kind of long extended trades, which Camille does favor, then Omnistone can be a very, very good rune to go with if you're into a slightly easier matchup. Now, the Camille Gnar matchup is pretty good for Camille. I mean, it's very hard for her to get ganked. She can follow him even if he hops with her E. And she can poke him out in the laning phase with her W. Now, on top of that, her true damage, if she actually gets the first proc of her Q off while he's mega, then she can actually wait for him to drop to mini, use her E to jump on top of him, and then use that true damage bonus. So, I did have to pause to go over this. There's a lot of really interesting things with Omnistone, and I really think it's a good rune. I definitely recommend checking it out. It's also good on champions that have CC. So, for example, another thing you can do as well, sorry to go over it again, there's just so many really fun interactions with Omnistone. For example, early into the game, you cannot get Aftershock unless you have a ability that gives you CC. So what you can actually do is you can use your rune and then level up your E, for example, on Camille, and this will actually it will instantly give you a 15% higher chance to roll Aftershock, which, you know, can be a very, very good rune for trading. So she still does have Resolve in secondary, which she does lose out on one Resolve rune, but I think if she knows how this, which, I mean, you presume that he knows how to use this Omnistone, it can be very, very powerful. So here we just see a pretty slow bot lane. Now this is the thing with Jinx, like even though it uses a lot of mana, she can just spam these rockets over and over and poke Aphelios out of the lane. So she does also have biscuits as well, so she can replenish some of that mana. So she can literally just make sure that she gets control over the lane, doesn't lose that level 2, because level 2 against them is very, very big. So now we can see, obviously, Nidalee is a little bit slower on farm. I think she's solo leashed. I wasn't paying as much attention because I was fanboying over Omnistone, but Nidalee is slightly faster. J4 is going to skip camps, so especially those AoE camps that can kind of be hard. Now, one thing that I would have actually liked to see on J4 here is Camille is a much more... Camille is a lane that's very... self-sufficient. She's got her E so she can get out, so even if she's kind of playing weak side, she can still get out. So what you can do is you can play the 2v2 through mid or through bot. Now the way you want to do this is you want to take a red buff into the chicken camp, into Gromp, which is going to give you the fastest level 3, and then you can impact either bot or mid lane way easier, obviously, because they wouldn't have pushed in this hard if they knew J4 was kind of coming towards them. Now Nidalee also started bot side, so we're going to see a skirmish in top lane soon. Now Gnar doesn't really have the same weight as what something like Renekton does, because it doesn't have that point and click CC that Nidalee really enjoys. So I think Nidalee needs to look to play through mid lane here, because Faker has that route out of his W that he can use. But we do see really nice spacing from BDD here, just to avoid getting caught inside that wave by the E, which is kind of one of the main things you want to do against Ryze early into the game. Perfect layering of the minions though for Faker, which you'd love to see. Now they're going on the crab. J4 decided after red buff, and he's got that HP regen, he is going to get his other two camps. Now unfortunately, like, the problem is, again here, we can see the amount of pressure Na is exerting on this Camille, and J4 is not there. J4 should be here right now. If you have to skip Krugs, that's completely fine, but overall it's just very, very not very good to see, to be honest, in these situations. So we're gonna put GenG Calm Clid. So this is something that can very heavily be punished, because if this becomes kind of like a common thing from this team, then you can choose a top lane that could just massively push lanes in, like something like Volibear, and you know that the J4 isn't going to come and respond. So here we can see this Camille does actually have Conqueror, so she could potentially just look for a bit of a trade here. Now the wave is in a little bit unfavorable position for her, but if she waits till her Q comes up, now Na is mini, so she, you know, actually this cannon is pretty important for her to get. So I can see why she doesn't want to go for it. It's pretty risky, even though Na's out on Mega, especially considering he can still hop. She just wants to secure that cannon. I do think that was the opportunity while the Na was by that wall. Let me just go over it in a little bit more detail just to explain it. So the thing is, in this situation, this Na is very much just kind of sitting next to this wall. Now his positioning is kind of really bad here, because it allows Camille to get a very, very fast E on top of him, you know, get, you know, a double Q and then just run and then W on her way back through. So the fact that Canna was positioning near that wall, I'm not sure if it was kind of a bait from him, but overall it was pretty good. I mean, we'll take it. It's fine. So here we see bot lane. The Braum tanks the hook. Obviously the damage doesn't go through, but the hook still kind of connects and drags. So that's kind of like an interesting mechanic to this matchup. Again, Ruler, I mean, Aphelios is a very, very big lane bully, and Jinx needs mana to be able to contest that. So since she doesn't really have any right now, and she has biscuits available, she could have popped them, but instead she's just going to reset. Oh, she actually got cancelled, the reset. So she's just going to pop a biscuit here for the mana and then just stay inside the laning phase. I do like to see that lethal tempo come out from the Jinx, though. Very, very good to have lethal tempo on Jinx. I feel like it's much better than Conqueror. Conqueror helps more in a team fight, but yeah, it's much better. So here we can see actually that the Dark Harvest was available, but she didn't manage to get it. We can see the rune changing right now, and now she has Phase Rush, which again, Phase Rush can be very good on Camille also. So this is actually a very interesting thing that Camille is doing, and it's very good. She's resetting here so that she can TP back onto the slow push, and now she can actually guide the slow push in. And Nar is also read that instantly, which is really good, and he picked up his steel caps. Ooh, someone's dog, my bad. So he also picked up his steel caps as well, which means now he can survive a little bit more in this lane against a Camille. Obviously, they're not going to help against the true damage Q, but overall, I mean, it's still going to help with her trading patterns, and he just becomes a little tankier. So here we can see Camille's actually trying to pop this phase rush, but she didn't manage to get close enough to get it. Now, if she does get it off, it's going to be big, but it is actually cycling now. So now she has Airy, which, again, Airy, great on Camille. You can just use it to poke with your W, like... So if she W's now the Ares is just going to hit, so it's extra damage. Now, obviously, she has no way of applying that to allies, but it doesn't really matter. Ares is mostly used in laning phase as kind of like a trading tool, especially considering it can proc very, very easily on the enemy too. So it's just extra damage all around. So we can see Ryze is actually coming towards bot with his 6. He did actually get spotted on a ward though, and they do think that J4 is currently on red buff, which is kind of bad on the side of T1 because they don't actually know where this J4 is, and this J4 could have been top. Look at all of this pressure from the Na. Clid is inting. Like, yeah, he's going to give away the dragon, but if he manages to get some pressure on this Na, then you know it's very, very good. And especially considering if he comes and ganks at a certain angle, Na can't actually jump away from him as easy. And Camille has follow-up CC, and Na is by this kind of wall permanently. So Rascal is freezing this wave, but Clid is completely griefing him. It's just very, very unfortunate. Like, so now we can see Rascal's going in with this Conqueror. Now we're going to see, so the Conqueror is going to go off. So she has a full stack to Conqueror here. So now she still keeps this Conqueror, and now she has Grasp. So if she would have gone there, this Grasp would actually give her, okay, so Braum flash to try and, okay, so unfortunately she does die to Faker, but yeah, that Grasp would have actually give more based on the fact that she has Conqueror fully stacked, which Conqueror gives a considerable amount of resistances. Warner does manage to finish that with an auto, but Teddy is left out to dry. Now the prioritization from Clid to camp bot lane a little bit more is good. I mean, there is still, even if you do prioritize one lane primarily, you should still be kind of looking to avoid kind of resolve pressure in your room, in your lanes whenever you can. So but he has got Aphelios ahead. Aphelios opting into his tier 2 boots, which means he's going to be a little faster, a bit more of a lane bully. But as soon as they saw that the Braum was top lane, they instantly went on the Jinx. Now, this is the only kind of problem with Jinx, is she's a massive teamfight scaler. But if she does get left alone, she is in lane alone, it's very easy to catch her due to the fact that she has a, you know, she doesn't really have any movement speed unless she gets a kill, but that's really not going to happen if she's in a 1v3 situation, or it shouldn't do anyway. You wouldn't expect it to happen anyway. So here we can see Rascal jumps on top of Canna, manages to get a massive amount of pressure off on him and kill him. He does buy enough time though for the Rise to get in. But here, I think she should have just kept fighting with this Conqueror instead of backing out here and losing those Conqueror stacks, because then she's going to get that Grasp and she's going to be able to do a massive amount there. So overall, a little bit unfortunate that she didn't just commit to that fight. She just kind of wanted to escape instead of just kind of going for it. And then obviously BDD dies as well. So he won't just fight till his death, which in those kind of situations is kind of bad, because you want somebody that's going to at least output damage and try and come with a return kill. I mean, you can do, I think he could have killed Faker there if he would have just ran up on him, because that W did give him a slow, and Faker had already used his ability rotations, which again, it does reset, his Q does reset off E and W, but once he's used E and W and Q 3 times, it's not going to be as effective. One thing you have to take into consideration as well is Rise doesn't have a damaging ultimate ability. So here we can see that they're just going to pop Herald here. They're going to get these plates, and then from this they're going to be able to potentially get the entire tower, maybe. If they would have just okay. Wait. Did Clid just do what I think he just did? So he actually knocked up the Herald to avoid it charging and then just smited it away. That was really good from Clid. And now they're going to look to engage. So they would have got this tower if they just used Herald a bit further away. So really greedy Herald play by Warner. But T1 actually turned this around. They get a Jinx rocket from across the map, which is also going to get Jinx excited. So maybe we see something in bot lane. No, that's kind of a shame, because Jinx and Aphelios are on very high HP, and she actually got excited from that kill. So I would have loved to see the Braum just kind of go hand there with his ultimate and just kind of nail them, considering that Jinx's ultimate was down. Obviously, there's also an argument to say that Jinx's ultimate was down and Aphelios wasn't, but the amount of attack speed that Jinx gets out of her passive, and it breaks the attack speed limit, is unbelievably strong, and the amount of movement speed just to dodge everything that Thresh tries to throw at her would have been very, very good. But it's fine. They're playing the They're playing the game controlled, like slow and control, which is fine. Like, they don't want to force too much. They already got a good fight top. Terrible Herald usage. So, again, they managed to pick up this Camille now. And, yep. Pretty good fight from the side of 2-1, actually. Nah, Faker the playmaker. I already have water. I have plenty, my dude. Plenty. How's it going, Dom? It's been a while. Smart water for smart individuals. True. Gotta get that 2 to 3 liters a day in. Like, you know, nah, I'm not doing too bad. We're doing a project right now where we're literally watching playoffs from every single region. We're watching at least one game from every single team. Worlds from the major regions. We're gonna maybe avoid playing teams for now. Purely because I've got like, I think like 13, 14 days to go through another like 10 teams, but we'll see. Hey, how's it going, Chi? Welcome back, man. How was it you went for food or went for work or you quickly uninstalled? Damn, man, that's a shame. What, was it getting too much or what? Mentally or? I get you though. League is a very hard game. Oh yeah, you donated blood, right? Like, I feel like the amount of people I've seen come and gone in League over the years is unbelievable. To the point that you avoid having friends through League, I'd say. Okay, so really nice pick onto Carrier here in top. But the Jinx actually gets it. Camille flashes a basic attack. How crazy was that? Like, that's a really good fight. Felt like you were wasting too much time. The thing I usually tell people in regards to that is everybody has to have something to do as a hobby. Like, yeah, like it's a hobby. You're looking for grad jobs and download a app called Debut. Damn, 2 hours of donated blood. So we see this fight again. So Carrier just walks into the bush. Nidley also gets stunned there. Braum just gets completely locked up by the Thresh though, and then Nah really can't do much. We do see this kill in bot lane where Camille TPs nice traps behind the tower, because you will always TP closest to your base no matter what you do. And then Jinx just kind of pokes her out with rockets and she just kind of goes crazy. Manages to get the kill there and then get the tower. One of the things I would have liked to see Jinx do here though, is instead of hitting this tower, I'd like to see her clear off this entire minion wave first, and then just one hit the tower and then use the movement speed that she gets from getting excited to just run away. I think that would have been optimal. I think she just took the tower. Yeah, she just instantly takes it. How do you spell it? I'll put it in the chat. There we go. It's a very, very good app, since I know you're in the UK as well. It's an app on your mobile phone and you can just quick apply for jobs. It's how I got my first job in IT. So here we can see in terms of gold, it's really not that much different. I mean, Aphelios is ahead of the Jinx, but Jinx has a massive amount of teamfight potential, and she has so much to kind of pick things off. I mean, this Rise is going to be able to easily get a nice W down, which is then going to layer with a max range Nidalee Spear into a Jinx ultimate, which will 100-0 anybody on the enemy team right now. Maybe J4 can survive if he manages to kind of EQ in and then, or EQ away to avoid the Jinx ultimate, but whoever gets hit by that is going to get chunked massively. So we can see now Rise is at a point where he can just instantly clear waves of that one item. He is at 291 stacks right now. So he is actually going to soon have Seraphs. But it's a much better game from him, to be honest. I feel like in the first game especially, Faker played so poor, but I think it's because mid lane pool got pinched so hard and they ended up on Aurelia into Azir, which Aurelia into Azir can be a good matchup if you're very, very good on Aurelia, but he just got camped a little bit and made some really, really bad plays. He didn't really hit a single E all game, and you could tell he doesn't have enough. Go for a coup. Do you mean a coup? Oh, that is actually how you spell it. I thought it was just C-O-U. Co-op? Oh. I wonder what you're on. I thought you were saying the Q. Well, what do you mean a co-op? Like the shop or what? Yeah, I can work in a co-op, bro. Oh, I've never heard of that. A co-op studying and working at the same time. I've never heard of that before. Like here we have like gap years and like study years, but yeah. Honestly, Dom, I'd recommend just focus on your dissertation for now. Get it done as quick as you can. Right, so what's happening in this game? I mean, it's a pretty slow game, to be honest. I mean, both teams have very kind of large scaling options, but I think later on into the game, this Rise will do more. Obviously, he's going to have a little bit of a rough time walking. Oh, excuse me, go. He's going to have a little bit of a rough time actually walking in. So, okay, so Kerry gets caught again. He does use... Oh, God, hiccups. He does use his cleanse, though, because, you know, Spellbook Braum. Again, this one of Kerry's favourites. Okay, but they managed to get the Herald Charge here. They don't grief this Herald Charge, thank God. Kana has his ultimate available, though, and he's in the backline, so maybe he just picks Rascon. No, he doesn't manage to get here. So he doesn't manage to get the Camille here, which is pretty unfortunate, but they will be able to siege this tower. Now, the danger is, if they siege this tower and Jinx gets excited, they could potentially force a really big team fight. So what I want to see here is Teddy playing more aggressive, because we can see here that the problem with Teddy that I feel like he's not taking into consideration is positioning before he gets excited, which is a really, really big thing on Jinx. So right now, this tower is going to go. So as Teddy, what you want to be looking to do is walk up here, because then as soon as this tower does drop, he's going to get excited, and then he can easily dodge anything the Thresh throws at him, especially considering they know that they've just burnt the flash. So in general, like... Jinx should have been positioned more towards here so she can run him down and do more damage when she gets excited. So really sad to see, and we've seen this quite a few times. Is Herald post 14 worth in solo queue? So it depends on the state of the map. So if you've got camps to take, especially camps on the opposite side of the map, then it's not worth whatsoever, unless you're hard snowballing the game and you can easily push 2, if not a 3rd tower with that Herald. So say for example, if you can crack tier 2 and tier 3 tower with that Herald, then it's okay, because you can expose the inhib, which you can then snowball off at a later time. But if you can't expose an inhib with Herald, and you have something else to do on the map, whether it be Dragon or even bot side camps, if they just kind of take the fact that you're doing Herald and come and clear away all of your bot side, then you're going to lose about a kill worth of gold for no reason. Unless you make that up with Herald, it's going to be a complete grief. So in general, obviously, like I said, there is situations where second Herald can be good, but way too many people force second Herald while they have other things to do. At the same time, if say the enemy jungler's bot side camps are up, then you should just go for them instead as well, because you're not really going to get like a tower unless you're going to get first tower off that second Herald as well, which then it can be a little bit worth, but not too great. One of my favorite usages for Herald later on into the game is if it comes to about 18 minutes and you've managed to get a tier 2 tower because you've just camped one lane as like a Xin Zhao, then what you can do is you can get Herald, you can just walk up, ignore the wave entirely, and then just Herald the tower from inside their base, and you'll actually get oh, there's a fly, and you'll actually end up getting the inhib just with that one Herald push, which can be a game-changing factor. Now, in terms of this game, there's a little bit of a siege in mid lane right now, but you know, it does get cancelled out quite easily. Carrier tries to get a Q, but he's never really going to get that. Now, he has got Flash Exhaust on currently, so this Jinx is going to be very, very safe in these fights. Now, if we look at the items, we can actually see BDD very, very good in terms of the items that he's going with, considering, you know, that even though they don't have a massive amount of MR right now, if he finishes this Void Staff, it's going to reduce their overall MR. And then on top of that, he's also going to get 5 Magic Pen from the Luden's Echo. So Ludens already gives 6, so another 5, 11 on top of the 18, which is 29. So he's going to have 29 magic penetration just from his boots, Ludens, and Void, which then again another item on top of that, which will be his Seraphs, will actually push him to 34 magic pen, which we've discussed previously. 34 magic pen is almost the entirety of the base magic pen that anybody has. Now on top of that, when you have the Void Staff as well, Void Staff will proc the percentage reduction before your pen. So if you get that, you'll reduce them by 40, I think it's 40%. Magic resist, and then on top of that you'll have that 34 magic pen in total. So if you can actually break their entire magic resist and even go into the negatives, then your abilities actually start doing more damage, and it's basically true damage. So it's very, very strong to go. Nope, Void procs first because it's percentage. If pen procced first, then it would take away a lot of the value from Void, because then Void would be reducing by less. Because if, say, for example, you're reducing 34 magic pen, and it procced after that, then you're going to reduce them by 34, and then 40% after that, which say they have 50 magic resist, you know, you're going to reduce 40% of 16, which is pointless. It's really not that much. It's basically like Ludens on its own. How do you give Prime? You just go on the sub thing, and then it'll say at the bottom that you got Prime available. I always thought it worked that way. No. So this is why stacking pen with Void is huge. It's saying resub. It should be at the very, very bottom. Or, I don't know. No. It would take too much value. It'd be counterintuitive. Like, one thing that Riot want to do is they don't want you to get punished by building items, but unfortunately it does still happen. Like, for example, Lichbane, you get punished about 1,000 gold by building it, so the active has to be worth 1,000 gold to you, or you have to be willing to lose gold. This is why Lichbane is just really not a good item. Like, it's just terrible. It's only worth the base stats that it gives are only worth 2,000 gold, so it's like there's really no point. I'm gonna restart that. It's terrible. So we have a big fight coming up soon. The Baron is available now. Dragon is spawning, and it is an Ocean Dragon. So T1 are actually in a much better position here, because they can just instantly collapse on it now. Nara has actually got Prio in bot lane too, so this is a really, really good rotation from them. So now we will actually see them. Nope. Let me show you. So here we go. So if we look at the wiki, we can see order of calculations. Magic resistance reduction flat, magic resistance reduction percentage, magic penetration percentage, and then magic penetration flat. So the magic penetration flat applies last, which means all of these three prior will actually increase the amount that you get from this flat, which is obviously very important, because the lower amounts of resistances you have, because resistance gives diminishing returns, it means that you end up in a kind of situation where if you're getting them to those lower levels by taking off such a huge chunk, then every little bit of flat pen you have is ridiculously important. Yes, whoever told you that told you bullshit. I mean, you should have asked me. Like, come on, bro. So yeah, you get magic resistance reduction flat, magic resistance reduction percentage, magic pen. It's the same with lethality. So okay, so it doesn't show that. So here again, here it's a little bit different. So here we have armor reduction flat, and then armor reduction percentage, armor penetration percentage, and then lethality last. So if you get something like a Lord Dons, you're not going to lose value from the lethality you have if you've gone for lethality early. So it's so yeah, it's good. It's really, really OP. Like, this is why penetration can still be great, even if you want to go in something like a Lord Dominic's, which is, in my opinion, probably one of the most broken items in the game. I think it's 116% gold efficient. Let me just double check for you. I'm pretty sure it's 116% gold efficient, which is crazy good for the item. And then you get the Giant Slayer. Sorry, 104. I'm thinking of Hullbreaker, which is 116. Lord Doms is 104. 105% gold efficient. So already, you can see here, you're getting 162 gold for free. It's like half a kill for free. And then Giant Slayer is a completely free unique. So this is the thing, and this is one of the problems that a lot of ADCs have that I coach, is that they will think, oh, they don't have big tanks, so, you know, I'm not going to go Lord Dominic's because Giant Slayer is not really going to do much for me. But when you think about it, this is actually completely free. Like, it's completely free. You already get all your gold from these base stats, and they're good base stats as well. Sometimes what you get is, like, you'll get, say, an AD item that it's only, say, 50% worth of the AD, and it has other stats on top of it as well, like health or stuff like that, you know? Like, if we look at, say, let's just take a look at Titanic Hydra, for example. Oh, what the hell's going on here? Why have I gone back? Oh, this website. Oh, come on, man. My PC sucks. So if we look at, say, Titanic Hydra, for example, which, again, is actually a viable item on some ADCs, we have 30 AD and 500 HP. So here, this 30 AD is worth 1,000 gold, but that's only worth almost, you know, 50% of the item, like, on its own, you know? So it's like, okay, if you're an ADC, you don't want to buy this because there's too much gold in the HP, so you really don't want it, especially if you've got cut down and low doms. You're going to take away value out of those items by building an item like this. So an item like this, it's like, okay, there's not enough AD inside of it for the gold that you're spending, so, you know, you don't want it. Whereas with low doms, the AD, it's got a nice amount of AD, you know, it's 1,000 gold, same as Titanic, but it's also got crit and armor penetration, which, you know, makes up for such a large amount of the gold. Now, when you also work out this gold amount, it's also based on, you take the cheapest armor pen item, and then you kind of divide it by the amount of armor pen it gives, and then that'll give you the value of 1% armor pen. So in terms of theory's sake, this is obviously already very good, but then when it comes to like a practical application of this item, this could actually be worth way more than 1,300 gold, because if they have something like an Ornn or a Scion or something that builds a ridiculous amount of armor, then this is going to go up even more, since this is a theoretical value. So the item is incredibly strong. But yeah, fandom's terrible. I like what RuneScape did. They actually just said, don't put anything on fandom ever again. We're going to give it up. We're going to make our own wiki. And now that's the official one. Like, the other one's outdated now as well. So we actually see this kind of fight around the Baron. Gen were trying to force it, especially considering Aphelios has red-white right now, which red-white doesn't do as much damage as white-blue, but it also gives him a lot of survivability. So in this kind of team fight, he can force a fight here, and it's very, very good for him. So all around, pretty good situation. Where did Dom go? Okay, so they get this dragon, which again, T1 are in a better position because GenG were trying to force Baron. So trying to force Baron at a very, very bad time to force it. So that's going down on their report card. So even if they just got that one ocean mark, that's still very, very good for their team, because it just makes them all a little bit tankier. So yeah. You know, fun fact, when I actually first became a coach, I went through the wiki and I just read as much of everything as I could. Because I decided I wanted to coach when I was still like, I think I was Diamond 4 at the time when I decided that I really enjoyed coaching, and I was coaching just for free, because I wasn't professional coach at that point. But yeah, I just read all of the wiki, all the little interactions, like target prioritization in terms of like the turrets. Turrets are super interesting, by the way. Like, I know I'm going off topic here, but let me show you how interesting turrets are. So the way turrets work is they always prioritize certain things. So they'll always prioritize somebody that's attacking an ally first, but if they don't, then they'll always prioritize from left to right, and they'll start with siege minions, and then they'll go to melees, and then they'll go to range creeps, no matter what. So let me see if I can find it. It's super interesting. Here we go. So this is the full selection. So like I said, targetable trap, Jack in the Box, same as the dragon with their pet Tibbers, normal, and then you'll have a siege minion or super mistwalkers, which that's just normal. And they did actually change that lately, I think, so that they get targeted after siege minions. So that was actually a change that came recently. And then melee minions, caster minions, maiden of the mist, and then champions. So if you're under the tower, the minions will always get focused first, unless you're in range. So it'll attack the first that comes in range, and then it won't stop until that dies. So you can become untargetable. So Maokai W, Fizz E, and yeah, it'll just select a new target based on this criteria, which it's just super interesting. Yeah, so the problem was Yorik's push was getting really damaged by the fact that the tower was just one-shotting the Mistwalkers over and over. And I think it was about patch 11.8 that it was changed. It might actually show me on. No, it won't show me on here. So it might actually show on the wiki when it was changed. Wait. So it wasn't updated in the. So let's just quickly find Yorick. I don't know. Maybe patch history. Where's patch history? There we go. Okay, yeah, so 11.8. 11.8 it was changed. I was exactly right. Look at me. So yeah, they made it so that they go against the Mistwalkers, and then this also changed target prioritization as well. So, God, it just feels good to be right all the time. What can I say? I'm just kidding. So let's get back into this game, since there's still this game and then one more, and it's getting a bit late now. So, oops. So now we can see that, honestly, I mean, Jinx is kind of happy in this situation. She's got her 3 items right now. She has gone with Rapid Fire Cannon over a Phantom Dancer, which Phantom Dancer gives you a lot more value. I think that's what she's going to go into now. She's just got that Rapid Fire so that she can, poke them out slowly. And obviously, Rapid Fire stacks up quite nicely with your passive too. So now we can see, I mean, Nidalee is pretty farmed, but I mean, the Jarvan isn't. Now again, Nidalee is going with this Night Harvester. It's not as bad now because she's not the sole AP, but it's still just pretty bad all around. Like, Night Harvester is nowhere near as good as Luden's, to be honest. The penetration is just way too big. Now Faker just completely runs away. Now Camille has died too much, so she's not going to be able to do as much in this side lane, which is kind of sad to see because she's very, very big. And just close some tabs. So Like I said, Jinx at this stage is extremely powerful, and I do actually like the fact that she's gone with Gale Force here over Kraken Slayer. Now, one of the mistakes that you see quite a lot with Jinxes is they will always go Kraken Slayer no matter what. Now, if she goes Kraken Slayer here, she's going to get completely one-shot by the J4 EQ, the Camille ETH follow-up, and the Syndra damage, which again, Syndra is on that kind of 2-item spike for that huge amount of armor reduction, oh sorry, MR reduction. So in terms of gold, it's pretty much all in favor of T1 right now, with the exception of Thresh into Braum, but Thresh into Braum doesn't really matter in terms of gold difference. It's not really going to change much. So we also have a locket in from the Braum. Andy has a stopwatch also, which could be important. Again, we're going to count these stopwatches because they're so important for these fights. So we obviously have a stopwatch in the Nidalee, Rise and Braum right now. But we also do have 3 stopwatches for the side of GenG as well. So if I was T1, I want to try and burn them as much as possible, because the Nidalee and the Rise have Zhonya's, so if they manage to actually pop somebody's stopwatch by using their Zhonya's, then they're actually going to put themselves in a very, very good position where they can, you know, completely just do so much more in the following team fight after that one where they burn those stopwatches. So here, as we can see, this is why kind of people go Night Harvester on Nidalee, just because you have a much lower kind of cooldown on those Qs. Now the problem is Nidalee shouldn't need to throw random Qs here, and if she goes for full magic penetration, then she actually ends up in a situation where if she lands one of those spears, it's going to do way more damage, and she's got Rise to CC her, to CC for her, and Braum on top as well. So oops, I accidentally shook my Streamlabs because it's frozen. So, Gen actually deciding to try and rush the Baron here under their nose. They do have red, white, and Ophelia, so he is going to do this super, super quick. Now, they do need to try and get a fight here. They do have a Rise. Kerry is just completely run in. Syndra manages to get it, so it's not even Clid that manages to get it. But they do have their resistances reduced from Baron now. So, Jinx with a lovely flash cleanse. She's just going to completely clean up this team fight. So they tried to kind of force a Baron when they had a when they have a Rise and a Jinx, which is just completely grief. Like, oh wait, what do you mean? The fuck? I will look soon. I don't want to look just yet. But, I mean, to be honest, I think T1 just take it here. Now, this is the great thing about Jinx as well. She gets excited off every single objective she gets, even if she doesn't secure it. So, for example, in that Baron fight there, one of the reasons why she was so effective is because I'm pretty sure she hit the Baron, which then meant when it died, she actually got excited because she'd hit it. Oh. Of course, I mean, we're just right too much. Like, I mean... It's a curse, I swear. Like, what can I say? But, I mean, overall, they just completely melted that base. And I think that all came down from the fact that we did have that kind of Jinx with the resets. So now what we're gonna... We just want to see one more team fight. Now, Jinx is worth so much. And she's going to get that PD, I think, off... Of course, of course. I can't repeat that for YouTube, but... So actually, let's break this down a bit more, because this was an amazing fight for T1. Gen just really, really roofed. So one of the worst things about this, to straight up, is they're also trying to take a Baron when there's no smite advantage from either side. So what we actually see here is Warner jumps in, and Teddy doesn't get a reset. Annabelle, can you ban him quick if you're here? So... Jinx doesn't actually get anything on the Baron, so she doesn't get that reset until the first kill. She Gale Forces out safety. She does get ulted by Syndra, but it doesn't matter. She flashes and cleanses the Ignite, which is the deciding factor, to be honest. And then Jinx just kind of runs it down. So here we can see, again, amazing play. So look at these movements and look at these inputs. They're so good. Faker, what was that? Like, crazy. Annabelle isn't here. Annabelle is here. There we go. I think he's AFK. Banned. Get out. Right, so either way, Jinx, Rise, massive carry factors in this game now. I think the ability for Gen to come back here is very, very situational on T1 messing up. Because we have a very fed Rise and we have a very, very fed Jinx right now. So they're going to go crazy in this team fight now. And, you know, as soon as Jinx gets one tower, so what they, again, rockets just to get this tower down as quick as possible. Unfortunately, Aphelios wave clear with the Syndra is just absolutely massive. Now, excuse me, this is another one of the really interesting things with Omnistone, is when you're outside of combat, you actually have a much higher chance of getting pred. So when you go for these side lane split pushes with Camille, you can split the side lane and then Predator into, say, a rotation into mid lane. So it's very, very good. I really love this rune. I think it's very underused because it's that kind of percent. It's kind of like gambling a little bit. You either get really lucky, which, I mean, you have an extra 15% chance anyway because you can meet the conditions for it, and then you just pop off. And Predator was also buffed. I think it was the last patch 11.17. I'm fairly certain. So you actually end up in this position where Camille can pop off. Yeah, so you can only really go Omnistone into the easier matchups for Camille, but she has quite a lot of easy matchups. So there's actually a lot of yeah. So you need a lot of things for it to work. You also need to be able to get rid of keystones very easily, which someone like Camille can actually do quite nicely. But again, like I previously said at the start of the video, if you say have Conqueror and then you fully use it and then your rune changes, you'll still get them bonuses from Conqueror in the rune. You can also do a combo that will get you, I think it's either 3 or 4 Dark Harvest stacks if it comes out perfectly in a row, which those Dark Harvest stacks buff all the other runes in Omnistone as well. So if you can pull that off, and if you get lucky enough to get that triple Dark Harvest proc, it's extremely powerful. So we're going to skip these parts a little bit. They're just looking to clear out. Well, to be honest, they just need to funnel everything into the Rise right now because he's actually going for a Rabadon. It's got a very expensive build. So he's looking to just get that as soon as he can. Now, he's got one needlessly large. I do respect the getting a control ward, which is very nice to see. But as we can see now, the gold deficit is very in T1's favor now. So we're going to see probably one big fight, and then the game's going to be looking towards being over. And I think T1 are massively in the driver's seat. Faker actually finished his Rabadons now. He is absolutely huge. So trying to make up for the games that he previously played, I feel like Faker on conventional tier 1 picks is one of the best mid laners. But I feel like when he gets kind of his pool pinched and ends up on kind of unconventional mids, like things like the Aurelia, he really struggles. And this is something that we also saw a lot with ADCs when mage bot laners started becoming good, is the fact that when they were forced to play one of the mages, the playstyle was so much different that it was hard for them to adapt. Now Russell just gets out of here and instantly doesn't actually finish that off, just because if he tries then they instantly take the Baron. I would like to see T1 have just instantly gone for that Baron, though, considering they know that Camille and Syndra is bot. Now they do both have TPs, but they could have potentially baited both the TPs out of them in that same point, and Kana could have just came up and forced them off on his own anyway. So Faker actually, like, okay, let's go. Like, I think he still dies. Oh, he doesn't die here. Maybe? Okay, Faker. Now he's going to actually use his ult to get out, but he's using his ult so that he can go and cut the wave, I'm fairly certain. Never mind, but Jinx is just instantly taking this, and she's actually going to get the reset off this and chase Clid. Okay, no, she's just going to reset so that she can... It still went through because it was in the last second of a recall, so it actually went through. Holy, this actually saved the game for them. Clid checking the pit first was complete suicide for them, and now Jinx just takes off. That's game for T1. Holy. The series of events that went down there, I'd be very sad if I was J4 because he'd already used his EQ, so he couldn't cancel it with any CC, so very sad to see. You can see, is he trying to backdoor? There's no way he tries to backdoor against a Jinx, right? Oh, okay, we've got TPs coming in from Syndra and Rascal. Oh my. Okay, they're actually going to potentially win here. Or do they do enough? I don't think they do enough. Oh, Jinx reset. I think they could have... I guess it was the safer option for Jinx to reset there, but good lord. I think Cannon needs to just TP to this mid lane right now. Has he got... No, so he doesn't have Baron buff. He's going to reset and then just TP to... actually, no, the inhib just went. There were too many minions. The inhib just dropped. And now they can actually continue using their Baron effectively on the map. It's starting with getting this dragon. It's a third one. It doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things, but as you can see, with these longer range ADCs like Jinx and Caitlyn can do it at base at level 1, you can actually take the objectives over the wall. So things like Jinx Jinx Braum and Caitlyn Braum, or any kind of support that can jump to an ally, it's very, very easy to just sneak those dragons, especially if there's a blast gun available. So we see this fight, amazing from Faker, actually jumps in, BDD instantly ults in. Faker also repositions from this, because if she comes back and just instantly E's, he's going to get stunned because there's so many balls on the floor. He uses his ultimate just to kind of buy out some of the, his Zhonya's to buy out some of the time from the Camille ult, and then just safely clears off the wave pretty much, and then gets to safety with his ultimate. And then he comes in and does absolute work here as well, completely picking Rascal off, and you know, he just dies. He just gets melted. He does unfortunately die there, but everybody gets chased down and Jinx just goes nuts. This is the back door though. They try and backdoor. This game is crazy. This series is just so crazy aggressive right now. So again, Jinx just comes back, instantly kills off the J4, and you know, lovely stuff. Like, amazing. You love to see it. So now we're just looking for this last fight. So they're looking to get a vision in the river, but to be honest, they T1, and this is something that T1 always do, they will literally just try and force mid soon. Now Jinx is wave quitter at this point. Now this is where Jinx has the kind of advantage over Aphelios, because her Q is AoE. She can instantly clear waves, so now it's very, very difficult to actually push in. And also Jinx is physical damage too, so the minions don't really get as much damage reduction from her as what you would from like a mage like Ryze. So very, very good at this point. I'm just waiting for this last team fight. This game is very, very close to being over. One more fight will decide it, and I hope, because they decided to take Jinx and is executing it perfectly, I hope we get to see Jinx just really pop off. Maybe even get like a pentakill, which you can easily do at this point of the game. So here we go. Jinx is going very aggressive here. So she's actually looking to use her range from her Qs just to get a bit of poke off on them. Again, at this point, she can clear the waves almost instantly. She also has Runans. I don't think that's the right choice. I think she should have gone with Phantom Dancer instead. It's going to allow her to deal with the J4 if he EQs on top of her. It's going to allow her to just instantly pop him and then move on to the next. So I do think that it would have been way better to go Phantom Dancer over Runans. I think Runans is a luxury item on Jinx, so you only really go if you're in, say, solo queue and you're either in a very short range comp, which they're not here, or you want to just quickly kill someone off. So here, Camille jumps on top of the Jinx, but it doesn't matter because Braum's peel is just insane. So now they're going to try and rush the Baron, but if they try and rush the Baron here, then they're just going to potentially end the game. They just want to go and push mid in here, get this inhibitor, and then Jinx can reset off it. So I don't think the Baron is actually going to do much for GenG in this situation. They do commit a massive amount for a pick on the side lane, but Jinx is just going to run mid down right now, and Baron doesn't actually help against Jinx's siege, so they're going to get the Ocean Soul as well. So GenG really dropped the ball here, because Ocean Soul is so huge this game, especially considering one of the main things that keeps Jinx controlled and back in these kind of fights is the fact that she has a limited amount of mana with her Q. Now, Ocean Soul gives a considerable amount of mana back, so now it means that Teddy is never really in a dangerous position, because he can just stay in his rockets for the entire game. So we're going to see this close out soon. Aphelios doing 1k damage exactly to their minions, but Jinx is just completely melting them away as well. So we're just looking for an engage. Now, we just want to wait for Na to get Mega, or if Braum can get an engage. Now, this is the only thing with this comp. They don't really have as easy of an engage option as GenG do, but they're going to get this inhibitor, and now I'd like to see Jinx position better around, you know, after she gets that inhib, what she does there. So I think she needs to focus on that way more. So here we can see they're sieging, and even though GenG have Baron, this is such a close series. Holy. Welcome back, Gene. Because this Camille is still a massive side lane threat. Who is going to actually contest her in the side lane? Nobody, and this is why T1 has to kind of focus on her. So they're just trying to get vision, but this is going to be the game-ending fight. So we see the Braum looks to try and engage, and now Clid gets gets caught by the Braum passive. We get a TP coming in from Kana because he thinks his fight is going to go, and he's also got his Mega up. So what we want to look to see is Kana to actually engage on top of them here and then just ult them into a wall. He has just dropped into Mega, so now that's a massive teamfight opportunity gone, because now they don't have as much of a front line due to the fact that Naz Mega has already been popped. So they really needed to look to force something there, otherwise it's just gonna stalemate. So GenG are looking to try and avoid a team fight from the Jinx because she's so strong right now. So GenG doing their best to hold on in here, but this Elder Dragon is going to come up soon in 34 seconds, so they really need to look to play around it as much as they can. If they can play around this Elder and get a big fight on it, then great. They're going to instantly rush Baron though, before the Elder, and obviously with Jinx they can just shred this so quick. They need to finish it off, so they get it, and now Jinx gets excited off the Baron, which means she can just go nuts in this fight. She gets another kill on the Syndra. Are we going to see the Jinx pentakill? She's just going nuts with the rockets on the backline, and Ruler manages to cleanse to get out, but it's really not going to mean anything because Nidalee gets it, and now they're just going to run down mid and end the game. Like, there's no reason for them not to. Jinx is just so impactful in these team fights. I'd love to know how much damage she did overall in this game. It's going to be very, very high. Braum does get caught by the Thresh, but he's extremely tanky, and he's got a level up on him right now. So he's just going to run down. He has got Wardstone as well. I'd love to see it. So yeah, now she just kills. Okay. So now it's just dead, and now Braum is going to die. Oh, well, I mean, Braum is going to get a kill, but lovely game from T1. Teddy had the absolute game of his life. You'd love to see it. So what we're going to quickly do now is we're just going to fill out our sheets from these first few games, because I feel like this might be the last game. I hope it's the last game anyway. So what did they have in the first game? So in the first game, T1 GenG, they had, okay, so... Oh, wait, this isn't the first game. So first game, it was Renekton, Nidalee, Aurelia, Varus, and Rel. And they were against Kennen, Lee Sin, Zia, Aphelios, and a Thresh. Now this game was all on the Azir, so the Azir completely carried this game. So Azir gets blue. Lee Sin played pretty damn well too. He's going to get green. And then Aphelios, Thresh, I'll give them both green. Faker completely inted on this pick, so we're going to give him red, which is surprising for Faker. Renekton did okay considering, but he was still playing Renekton. Nidalee, not too bad I guess, but it still wasn't a very good performance. The Virus actually did pretty well, so I'm going to leave him on red, but the Rel inted a little bit too. And then game 2, what did they have? So game 2 was... Come on. So GenG had Set, Jarvan, Zoe, Aphelios, and Thresh. On the side of T1, they had Gwen, Xin Zhao, Ryze, Ashe, and Leona. So this game had to go to Gwen, 100%. Everybody else did great on the side of T1 though in this one, in my opinion. They all kind of snowballed pretty well. On the side of the other team, I mean, this was kind of a big aim from Aphelios in this one, so I am going to give him red. The Thresh played okay. I'm going to keep him on yellow. Zoe, Javan, I mean, Javan played well, actually. I'll give him green. But, yeah, Set kind of did absolutely nothing this game, and kind of the same with Zoe. And then, so, game 3. We had, for the side of T1, we had Na, Nidalee, Rise, Jinx, and Braum. And then in the opposite time, we had Camille, Javan, Syndra, Aphelios, and Thresh. So, in this game, I actually think the Aphelios did okay. Like, what was his end of game score? So he actually did okay, considering he was the only carry potential for his team. Syndra kind of inted this one, so I'm going to give her orange. Camille had inted, so I'm going to give her red. Javan did okay, like, considering the team he was in. Thresh actually did a fair amount, but I'm still going to give him yellow. Jinx was by far the carry, but Rise did incredibly well too. We had Na, who did okay. We're going to give him green, and Nidalee also okay. We're going to keep Nidalee on yellow, though. She didn't have a massively good game. So I think this is the last game now. Look at the key codes for yours. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll take a look into it. I'll take a look. So this is the last game. So, I mean, it means that T1 did win, unfortunately, but... Oh, so I need to actually stop the recording for YouTube, so... Sorry if you watched the end of this, but my bad.